So it honestly brings me immense joy to be able to come on here and say that the Fallout show is actually good. Now, going into this show, I'll be honest, I had really low expectations. The state of video games being adapted into movies or TV shows has generally never been good. We had the Halo show, which I didn't really bother watching, but I heard was awful. And growing up, I was never really into Halo much either, so I didn't really care to watch it. I didn't have a personal investment in it. But even after hearing it was bad, I cared to watch it even less. Then we had The Last of Us show, which was okay, I would say. It certainly wasn't bad, but there were still lots of moments in it where you could see, like, okay, this is Hollywood kind of putting their touch and their spin on things. And in my opinion, they changed and rewrote certain moments and characters. Not overall for the better. I feel like in the game it was just more enjoyable. And not even to mention, I felt the emotional moments in the game just hit so much better. And I honestly had the expectations and the worries about the same thing going into Fallout. We got the trailer a while ago and it looked okay, but there were a lot of things that we can presume to be red flags given Hollywood's history at adapting things. The number one was a female protagonist. Now, there's obviously nothing wrong with a female protagonist, but what is wrong is how they're written or portrayed in media, especially the last couple years. They're either Mary Sue's or they're extremely woke characters. But I'm honestly so freaking happy to say that none of that is present here. I've been proven wrong. Everything about this show honestly feels Fallout. From the world, the characters, the tone, and especially the music. It feels like going through the wasteland all over again on a new adventure. It's as if I turned on my PlayStation or my Xbox, whatever system you got, and I booted up Fallout 5, and boom, there we go. I want to talk a little bit about the characters. So the main female character is Lucy. She's the Vault Dweller. Typically in the Fallout games, you play a Vault Dweller. Not all the time, but majority of the time, that's how it goes, at least in Fallout 3 and Fallout 4. And she's honestly amazing. The way they write her fits entirely with the style and tone of the games, and it only increases the show, and her acting is honestly just icing on the cake. I like how the writing in the show doesn't take the world and everything too seriously, because you Fallout, at the end of the day, it is a video game and it is a little goofy in that way. And I like how they display how naive she is, having lived in the vault her whole life and not really knowing much about the surface world. She didn't even know there were people on the surface world. And I like how they didn't just make her some badass, and how she goes to the surface and she pretty much gets her ass kicked at every corner. Every time she sees something, boom, gets her ass kicked. Every time she meets a person, boom, gets her ass kicked, robbed, shit stolen from her, the whole shebang. And then, it wouldn't be Fallout without the Brotherhood. So, with the Brotherhood, we follow a character called Maximus. He's our character in the Brotherhood, and I honestly hope I'm not the only one who noticed this, but I'm pretty sure he's supposed to be a reference to that ghoul kid back in Fallout 4 that we find in the fridge. Billy, the one, like, if you've done the side quest, you've walked by the fridge and you've heard a little boy like screaming for help, and you're like, what the hell is that? And you see a random fridge and you open it and it's this ghoul child and his name is Billy. The whole thing with Maximus and how he gets saved and all of that was exactly the same with Billy. You find he's a little boy and they found him in a fridge and his parents put him in the fridge to take cover from the bombs or the explosion or whatever. So, but he's the follower that she gets associated with in the Brotherhood, and he's not exactly like a full Brotherhood member like the usual followers we get in the game, but rather he's kind of like a black sheep of them. He kind of just in the beginning of the show, he kind of just wants to like earn their respect, and the show goes into a lot how how shitty the Brotherhood treats people who are just lower ranked. They're kind of just tools or pawns for them. And as the show goes on, we can see how he starts off pretty selfish, which, it's the wasteland. You kind of have to be selfish. But especially when, everything in the Brotherhood is pretty much treating him like shit. It's kind of understandable why he's coming from that area. But it also goes into how in the wasteland you can't really trust anyone, and everything basically wants to kill or eat you. Okay, so then we have our third kind of protagonist, arguably the coolest one, the Ghoul. And to be honest, I don't really remember, even though he was like the most badass one, he's like probably like my favorite and majority of other people's favorites. I don't really remember what his actual name was. But he's arguably one of the most interesting characters, and he's got the most drip out of anyone in the show, honestly. Man walking around, rocking the hat and the trench coat like he's the mysterious stranger, drip drop down to the socks. He's kind of portrayed more in the light of an antagonist, but he's not necessarily evil. He's kind of just a product of the wasteland. You know, the series starts off with him and his family, you know, pre-war, before the bombs dropped, and you know he turned into a ghoul from all of it. And after like over 200 years, you know, living on the wasteland and his family's presumably dead, I'm pretty sure anyone would kind of be an asshole too. So as far as the main characters go, that's basically the ones at the forefront. There's also the characters in the vault, who's Lucy's little brother, who's played by that one kid from Hannah Montana, Rico, which I recognized him immediately. Had me going, oh shit, it's Rico! But I won't go much more into his character as it's pretty spoiler heavy. But even with having a hefty cast of characters, the show still manages to do a good job of giving each of them enough screen time to portray each of their characters and what their motives are. But that's all I'll pretty much say for it right now. I finished the show as of last night. It's about a total of 8 episodes. And overall, the series was honestly a pleasant surprise. And I would, in terms of live action video game adaptation, I'd probably rank it number 1 so far out of all the ones that we've had. So if you made it to the end of the video, thank you for watching. If you liked the Fallout show, if you didn't like the Fallout show, you know, say it down in the comments below. And I look forward to hearing more from you guys in the future. And thank you.